Alright guys, so no surprise, Final Fantasy VII has been delayed?
Kinda?
Question mark? If there was even a release date to begin with.
I think the expectation was end of this year. Like the first episode.
My expectation was 2 years ago.
So let's talk about this, shall we?
Yes.
Do we have to?
So, originally, they said Final Fantasy VII, they were going to do the remake. Everybody got super hyped when they announced it at the PlayStation E3 conference 2-3 years ago at this point.
2015?
Whatever it was. Sure, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter right now.
But that's like after...
It's not coming out.
That's already after 3 years of knowing they were going to redo.
Well, we didn't know.
Thinking about
we wanted it, but we didn't know.
But I knew.
So they came out and they were pretty much like, "Hey, we're going to do this episodic," and everybody was like, "All right, so how does that work with episodic?" And then we got a story sometime after that saying it was episodic in the sense of like Final Fantasy 13, where it had 3 different games to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they originally were going to do, and I'm assuming that's what they want to do now, where it's going to be like Final Fantasy 7, and the story goes to a certain part of the original game, and then you have a second game that goes to a certain part of the original game, etc., etc., etc.
Galore.
So you're probably looking at 3 separate games potentially if they wanted to follow that suit of like what Final Fantasy 13 was.
Didn't the original Final Fantasy actually come on 3 discs also?
Yeah. So I was gonna say,
Yeah.
episode of gift,
3.
episode of disc.
Yeah. Well, no, because there's no way, because the last disc was pretty much just like the ending part of it.
And you'll pay good money.
Yeah,
for
there'll
that
be $60 for that.
Yeah. But
it's remastered.
I like it's going to be interesting to see where they kind of cut it off. But yeah, they want to do the full-fledged remake, which is great, which I want, which a lot of people want, which a lot of people are excited for. But at this point, it's like, when are we even going to see it? And I don't even know if we should even bother getting excited for it anytime soon.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. Like we've said it before with games, especially something about this caliber. You can't say a game's going to come out and then 5 years later say it's almost coming out.
Yeah.
And then 5 more years later it releases. But
do you think they're getting into that problem where the hardware kind of went beyond the software expectation and they're like, crap, this is not a remake. It's just like... looks like a crappy version of a remake.
So pretty much what happened was originally like the first announcement that we were all like really excited for when we wanted a lot of people were talking about Final Fantasy VII, and we actually haven't even talked about what the news was yet, but we'll get to that.
We're keeping you guessing.
But originally what happened with Final Fantasy VII is that they announced and released the PC port of Final Fantasy VII onto PlayStation 4, and everybody was like, "Oh, is that it?" Because everybody's getting really excited for like a remake, and there was rumblings about a remake for quite some time. And then they showed us the CG trailer, and like I said, that was 2-3 years ago now at this point. And now we're getting news. It was today or a few days ago that they're moving the development from out of house, like a separate development team,
from the shed to the house,
and they're moving it internally. Which tells me that we have a lot longer to go, and we're nowhere near seeing a completion or a decent build of this game to be played.
What that sounds like is back to the drawing board.
Exactly.
Is what that sounds like.
Even before this news, they announced that the game would come out within the next 3 years. So we had a delay, and now I think we have the reason for the delay.
Yeah, I just,
something's happening.
3 years is a lot.
And someone was saying, or in the article, I think it was in the article, that the reason being was just... they were planning on releasing a trailer for it, or was a trailer for it, that it wasn't up to Square Enix's...
Yeah, the director said something about...
Standard.
Like he was...
They didn't like the Dev Studios trailer. That was one of the reasons I think they said
and the other undertone of all this, too, is that the director that they have working on it now, I think he was just finishing up Final Fantasy 15, and the way that he found out that he was even part of that project was somebody in the media came up and asked him about it.
The 15 turned into a 7. He goes, what?
Yeah. There's some...
that was a big surprise.
There's some communication issues. Over at Square.
But just looking at this, and it just sounds like a similar story with what happened with 15. And like it was originally 13 Versus, which was going to be a separate game, and 10 years later it's Final Fantasy 15. Yeah. Like, are we looking at another 10-year project?
And it becomes Final Fantasy 16.
With the expectation, too, that you figure Kingdom Hearts eventually has to come out as well, Kingdom Hearts 3. They can only do so many darn collection remakes of Kingdom Hearts before it's time to come out with a new game.
There are quite a few.
So like, I just don't
Kingdom
know.
Hearts Fantasy 7.
Like, don't get me wrong.
Maybe.
Like, Square is a big publisher in Japan. They actually, a lot of people don't know this, but Square actually publishes Call of Duty in Japan. Like, Activision doesn't have the right to publish over in Japan.
They replaced them
So they
with
make
Disney
money.
characters.
They make money in different businesses in Japan. But when it comes to like their video games and their core video games, I'm just like looking at them with certain things. And I'm just like, what are you guys doing?
So you're saying that it's not money that's the problem. You're telling me incompetence is the problem.
I don't know. I mean, at this point,
Can you speculate?
That's exactly what you said.
at
Square.
this point,
My big question is...
because look at 15. Like I said, look at what happened from 13 verses all the way to what we have now at 15.
I'm
And
afraid-
even that game wasn't even complete.
I'm afraid I'm going to be too damn old to play. 7.
Exactly.
Like,
Well, that's
I got
the thing.
too many things going
the
on.
big question...
13 was wrong when they started making it.
13 or
13 was
13
wrong.
verses.
All of them. All
Okay.
of 13s.
Well, 13. I didn't play 13.
13 was terrible.
My big question is, how long do we delay it until it's no longer Final Fantasy
It
VII?
needs to be.
And but how long do we
They won't
go
get away
until
with that.
no one cares? Like,
Everyone
like
always
I don't
everyone's
know.
They'll
That's
always
a good
care.
question too.
everyone's played Final Fantasy VII, and they remember it when they first played it back in the day. Do you know
Yeah.
how many great games came out
Since then.
after that?
Yeah, but I mean,
And people are still looking for it, though.
if you just
Yeah, people are still excited for
yeah,
it.
but it's nostalgia. That's
Yeah,
all
but it's
it
really
is
good
right now.
looking nostalgia. Did you see Cloud with his Buster Sword?
It was beautiful.
It was. I'm
It
excited.
was great.
Look, I'm excited for it. I don't know when we're gonna get it, and Chris is right. Like, I hope I'm still interested by the time that it comes out. But
Well,
it is
that's
a
the big
question.
it's because
Yeah.
our generation has kids now, pretty much. Like a lot of us, went on and made more gamers. And those gamers are going to be like 5 or 6 or 7 years old when you guys come out with your game. And guess what? I'm not going to have time to play your 45-hour game because I got kids to feed.
I mean, I made time with my I made time with 15 when it came out.
But we're talking about
That's
older
like little-
kids
yeah,
with like
that's true.
school things going
Yeah.
on and other life bullshit that goes in between.
Make it portable, easy for everybody.
put on the Switch.
Put it on the Switch, right? I gotta buy one of those then.
But I don't know. Like, I don't know at this point because, like I said, they've had a lot of false starts with this game. It seems like, and I don't know what it means now that they evidently weren't confident enough when whoever was doing the development to now bring it in internal to make sure that is being done properly.
Yeah.
If that's what it is, like maybe it's being done properly, but it doesn't sound like this is a home stretch thing where there's kind of like working out patches or working out different problems or story elements. This kind of sounds like they're going to start it, if not from the beginning, very close to the beginning.
So here's another question: is it going to be still a remake or a revamp? Meaning, like, think Voltron.
The cartoon?
Yeah. Think of how they have the 80s, and then you have the new one that came out that's kind of similar, but
They're using
different.
using the voice actor from Advent Children for Cloud. That's been confirmed. So we know that they're going
this
to have
guy's going to be
voice
old
actors.
and dead before the game comes
They're
out.
going to have
think
voice
they-
actors. They're going to have the awesome cutscenes that we saw are going to be part of it. The gameplay mechanics have changed substantially. They're not the same.
They said it was being
turn-based gameplay.
modernized.
So it's going to be a very
modern
different
fantasy.
game than what it was.
You're looking at the difference between putting a game out at like 4K versus 1080p. I mean, how many years down the line before you go, all right, now we need to change the game a bit to work on
PS5
PS5,
or PS6.
right? Or do we have to code this
10 years
differently?
from now.
You know,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you're going to have, like, for all we know, it was supposed to come out on PS3. And then they got behind, and then they're like, let's just hold off on any announcements till we can, when the PS4 gets announced.
that's
and
what
then
I'm thinking. I think the
then we'll release it
hardware
there.
is moving faster than their software production, which is
Probably.
crazy.
Depends on the engine that they're using too. I don't know what engines they're working on. I don't know if it's their own engine or they're working. I want to say it's Unreal. I feel like maybe I don't remember if I read it or not.
I don't know.
It seems
wonder
like
if it was
whenever a
Unreal
big
Engine.
game with like really impressive graphics comes out nowadays, it's Unreal Engine.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what it
there's
seems
some
like. It
decent
is
ones
real.
out there. There's some decent engines out there. Like I didn't even know this until I looked up. Like Far Cry 5 is going to be run on Crytek, CryEngine.
The Crysis
Yeah.
engine.
So it depends on what they do, but it's just like honestly, at the end of the day, I'm just worried that's going to be another Final Fantasy 15 scenario where it's going to take 10 years to actually even come out, and they just threw it out there to hype everybody up, and we're not going to see this game for years at
Yeah.
this point.
Honestly,
I'm mad about it.
yeah, I mean, like
I'm upset.
all
My
good,
feelings are hurt.
He's
all good
irate.
questions.
I'm
Is it
irate.
still going to be
Word.
Final Fantasy 7, like, as a core, or is it going to be some sort of revamp? And when it does come out, are we still going to really be interested?
It's
in
got to be 7. They will not get away with calling it anything else or being
They built
a story
up 7X.
of 7.
They built up
No.
too much hype.
7 plus.
No.
7
It's just
XL.
it's going to be
7 again.
It has to be a remake.
Like, what I don't want to happen is, like, a really good example is what I don't want to happen is what they pretty much planned on doing with Metal Gear Solid Rising, where they put it out to Platinum, and they made a Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance, and the game mechanics changed from what that game was to a just pure Platinum hack and slash game. Like, there was supposed to be some stealth elements in Metal Gear Solid Rising, but they just never... They went, just pretty much ported it out to Platinum, and Platinum made their typical
As soon as you
hack
said
and slash
Metal Gear,
games.
you got me angry for Metal Gear Survive.
Well, we're not talking about that. That's a different topic for another day when
It's-
I'm actually a little bit less irate.
A little
I
bit.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Is that the zombie one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Totally forgot.
but we know it's in house now. Final
What I
Fantasy
wanna-
VII. We know that Papa Bear's in charge.
We don't know. This could go. There can be so many changes before then.
What I want to know is, like, what's the actual reason for cutting these devs? Because that seems like a pretty petty reason. You don't like the trailer they made?
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's a trailer. I don't know what it was.
There must have been more.
That's
There
what
had to
the-
been more.
They didn't say.
That's
They
what
didn't
the
say
news
what
said.
it was.
If
They
you
were
do-
making a true remake, and they're like, "No, we need a revamp. It's 2017."
Maybe they wanted like a better, like a dev with better history. Because I think this dev was known for like anime games, like Naruto.
Oh yeah, you're right.
and,
Oh yeah,
we
should-
that-
that's
should make a
true.
bet right
Yeah.
now.
I want that,
Should
yeah.
make a bet right now.
Like, I feel like if that's the case, they should have vetted them beforehand. Because making such a big title that everyone's hyped about.
Because what you
Well, he didn't know he was part of the project, so he had no idea what was going on.
like, I feel like
He spent 10 years working on 15. He didn't know people were interested in 7 again.
I feel like the fans will be okay if they do some changes to the battle system and modernize it.
You say
But-
that now.
But the problem will be if they can't maintain the story of Final Fantasy VII, like through and through, there will be outrage. And they might change some stuff.
like
And they might shorten some things here and there. But they need the overarching story of 7 from start to finish needs to be there in the 3 games or whatever they're going to do with it.
what year were they gonna think that you're gonna see this game?
This game, what year are we in? 17?
Yeah.
2030.
I'm going to say, and this is going to be really bad, I'm going to say optimistically, if we see it by 2022, I think that might be pretty good.
Well, all right. So
Because I don't even know what's going to happen. Just based on what's happened with 15 and 30 verses and everything, I would, maybe 2020. Maybe.
all I gotta say,
Maybe.
They said
First
by
game.
2020. I'm going to hold them to that. Because
Is that what they said?
They said by
Yeah.
2020.
All right. 2020.
Now, here's the next question. Because they did what we said no one should be doing is they promised a game. Are they going to be rushing this now to get it out by
That's the
2020?
other question. They better not, because if they screw up,
I don't think Square's known for putting out games, especially their big titles, for being broken.
I mean,
Well, they're going to work on it
they didn't
for
finish
another
15.
5 years.
Yeah, but
They did not finish 15.
that's true. I hope they don't do what they did with 15.
And they held on to 15, so they didn't have one giant day one patch.
Yeah, which
Yeah, that-
was supposed to be just some minor stuff. But
Now I have a little less faith.
Well, they're going to work on another 5 years, so they don't have a day one patch.
They bottlenecked the story in 15, and that's what the problem was. Like, there was supposed to be all these bigger open areas towards the end of the game. Excuse me, and they bottlenecked the story to try and finish it up.
I think the worst thing they can do with Final Fantasy VII, besides messing up the story, is overcharging for the game you've already played. So, episodic.
It's really
This is-
good, and
here's
the
$40
This is a
for
very
this
different game,
episode.
though.
Here's $40 for the next episode. Here's $40 for another episode.
I know it's going to be a full 60 release. I guarantee you, like, each game is going to be $60. They're going to be like a 3-part game.
So it's going to
a
be
trilogy.
Each episode is a full
multiplayer.
game.
And
I don't think they'll
DLC.
do multiplayer.
You don't think so? You
Because
think they're going to just go for a straight
they
up...
still haven't done the multiplayer for 15, and they've been promising the multiplayer for 15 for
That's
the longest
true.
time.
It's because they don't want to overshadow
They're
the shadow of
they're
Final
going to ignore
Fantasy
that
VII.
and try and just move on.
If the multiplayer on 15 does come out eventually and it's popular, they might go with it.
I'd be fine with it if they can
Yeah.
work it out. But
I
they
want
have
co-op
Final
Final
Fantasy.
Fantasy VII.
They have the MMO on Final Fantasy
Co-op Final
14.
Fantasy. I don't think that would work.
you'll see astronauts boots on the ground on Mars before this game
if it's-
comes out. That's my
They'll
prediction.
play it on Mars.
That's
It'll be
probably
a great time.
pretty accurate prediction.
They'll Twitch stream it live on Mars.
I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna play with you on it. I'll give you.
But
That's
Did you hear what I just said?
you're going to play it on Mars.
no.
I'm not playing on Mars. Well, I'll go to Mars. That's
You
awesome.
said. Go ahead. Repeat what you said.
No, I
so.
said there will be boots on the ground on Mars before this game gets like at home in my console.
I said we're going to live Twitch it from Mars.
Let's do that. Let's
Why
not
are we
push
going
it.
to Mars? Who signed us up for Mars?
Chris did. He just said going to Mars.
Okay, we're
Yeah,
going to Mars.
We're all going to Mars.
I'm friends with Elon Musk, apparently. So we're going to Mars.
We'll get some views. First live stream from Mars.
That's like
It would be historic.
That would
Two
be-
at least.
Yeah.
NASA will be like, I wonder if they're gonna be okay.
Till the food runs out or we kill each other.
We just
We
kill
can
each
make
other
potatoes.
live on stream.
Guys, I watched that one Matt Damon movie. I can make potatoes on Mars.
That's true.
Good movie.
It's a great movie.
The Martian.
I liked it.
And we'll leave it with Matt Damon. All right, guys. What do you think of Final Fantasy VII delayed is delayed? How do you feel about it going into house? Is that a good positive thing?
House is a good show.
It should be a positive thing.
And
It
what
should be
year do you
positive.
think we'll see it?
2022.
Let us know down in the comments.